Hello and welcome back to the road to Avengers Endgame. Continuing on with the Marvel Cinematic Universe with Thor, which I was about to grab and then Connie grabbed it first.
It's pretty cool.
It's very
Yeah, now you don't have to lean.
It's very cool. And this steelbook is a holy grail that I missed out on when it first came out and was kicking myself for years about, because this was like such a rare steelbook.
Oh, I feel like I remember that.
Yeah, so it was going for like 100, 150 pounds on eBay, and I just didn't grab it at the time, which really sucked. And an incredibly kind YouTube friend sent it to me, and I still remember being blown away at that, because he could have sold that for so much money, but knew I really wanted it and sent it to me anyway, so that was just like such a cool thing. And I remember I did some like a really goofy skit for this, I think it was for the Blu-ray Brothers channel even, so it's like going back like 5 years now. Jesus, it's been that long. Hey! You dropped your cape! Just dropped his cape.
I'll go get it. Here.
Thanks. Well, that was a strange one. What? Anyway, Thor is one we didn't see in the cinema. I guess all of these so far we didn't see in the cinema. 2011, this came out a year after Iron Man 2, so we had that tease at the end of Iron Man 2 with the hammer in New Mexico, and now we see the story behind it. Another one where I think it's really like out there, like who really thought of Thor as a comic book character in the mainstream before this movie?
No,
you know?
to me it's just a mythological
the mythological character. Obviously, I think he was quite a popular figure in the comic books, but to people who aren't really into comic books, like super, you know, I have no way to end that sentence. Fuck, I need to get better at speaking.
No, but like Aquaman's dad or whatever, isn't that like the guy with the fork, you know? Zeus? No. Wait, not Zeus.
No. Atlantis? No, that's the place.
No.
Anyway, like, no.
One of those,
don't worry.
Water gods. And that's a mythology as well, huh? I saved myself, there's mythology.
We can't speak today. So Thor, I feel like is another gamble, and it's so strange because they got like Kenneth Branagh to direct it. It's just such a unique and interesting. Kenneth Branagh is a great British actor and also a director, and well known for doing Shakespeare, you know, plays and movies.
Does mother know thou wearest her drapes?
And then you have like this amazing cast, like Tom Hiddleston, who's a great actor, Anthony Hopkins. You got this real, I don't know, it's just such a unique.
Oh yeah, forget that he's a dad.
It's such a unique film in that sense, and again, I feel like a gamble in the early footings of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I've always really enjoyed it. It's a cool fish out of water story with Thor being sent down to Earth and having to kind of regain his power after kind of, similarly to Iron Man, having a brush with his own ego and being faced to kind of discover what is more important. So we're going to rewatch it and give you our thoughts. We still didn't do the ratings out of 5 for the previous 3 movies. So I'm just going to do it now. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason to this thing now, so who cares? Iron Man, I would give a 4 out of 5. I think
I agree.
I previously gave it a 4.5. Upon rewatch, I put it down to a 4. The Incredible Hulk, I previously rated 3.5 out of 5. I now give it 4 out of 5.
I think I'm gonna go to 3.5.
3.5.
3.75.
3.75.
Yeah, so I do out of 10, so 7 out of 10.
No. If you go by half measures, that's 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then halved is 10. So if you want to do 7 out of 10, it would be 3.5 out of 5. You give me that blank stare, but that's maths.
You can give it halves.
Yeah, I said 3
On the
point...
thing.
On Letterboxd, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so 3.5 would be a 7 out of 10.
It would.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 3.5.
3.5, okay. And then Iron Man 2, I think I gave a 3.5. I think that was my...
Same.
Yeah, I think that's... yeah. So, on with Thor, and... yeah. Alright, we're done with Thor. We did split it up into 2 viewings, which is becoming a running theme and trend. Anyway, regardless of that.
You were falling asleep, though.
This time, I was falling asleep. Anyway, so we finished it now, the day after. I love this film. I think it's great. I've always liked it. I think it's not a lot of people do because it kind of gets quite slow. Not a lot of action in the middle there when Thor goes to Earth and is banished by his father, Odin, played by Anthony Hopkins. One thing I love about the film, obviously you have Kenneth Branagh directing it, you know, he's like a proper actor's actor. But you have, I've already said that, we have great actors.
That's what you gotta do for the rest of the review.
Okay, so...
That's the way it is. It's the whole...
Yeah, well, I was going to get to that. I was just going to say that I really like how there's great actors in this film, and to me, the most interesting parts are when people are just acting. I think the action scenes in the film aren't very good. Specifically at the beginning when we get like the kind of backstory of Jotunheim and Asgard and all the frost giants. There's a big like Lord of the Rings,
yeah.
like Lord of the Rings prologue style battle, but it's nowhere near as good as that. And it's very just bodies flying around, dark, can't really see what's going on.
Very loud.
Very loud. Even when Thor takes Loki and his friends to Jotunheim to fight them, the fight scene is just, it's very like, as I'm watching it, I'm like, wait, what's happening? It's not like, it's not terrible, but it's not memorable, the fight scenes, you know what I mean, the action?
Yeah.
But I feel like the actual character stuff is some of the strongest in the MCU, like, really good arc for Thor, who's very arrogant and very powerful, he's a god, and then he gets a reality check and goes down to Earth, and seeing Loki develop as a character who we all know now as this trickster and evil son of a bitch who we still seem to somehow enjoy watching because he has that kind of charm to him and he's quite funny. But seeing him, like his origin in a way, it was really cool, and seeing that play out. I think Anthony Hopkins is great, and the Natalie Portman stuff is interesting too, because she's a scientist, Jane, who is looking for something more and finds literally like the dream, which is like a super hot, attractive guy that she can fall in love with, who also happens to be the literal physical embodiment of something more in the universe. And obviously, you know, she doesn't want to believe it completely when she first meets him because there's no proof. So like the whole movie is about her kind of wanting to believe that he's real and all the stories he's telling her are true. Some of the comedy in the film is a little hit and miss, you know. One thing that really made me laugh was when Thor said to Coulson, son of Cole.
Yeah.
That just really cracked me up. So there are some funny moments. And what do you think of the film? You've kind of been sitting out of the picture, literally, if you want to get your take on Thor.
It's good.
Oh, that's hang on.
See, that's why I don't want to be in the shot.
Well,
You
no,
can't even see me.
it was well. No, if I just adjust the bootleg lighting a little bit, then there you go. No shadow.
No shadow, because there's no shadow to take. It's nothing but white.
Ha 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 ha.
I am the light. I am the chosen one. It's good. It's not as good as I remember.
Okay.
I liked it better the first few times I saw it, I think.
Okay,
Because I remember feeling that I liked the first one better than the second one. And as I was watching, I was thinking, really? Then what's wrong with the second one? Because
Yeah.
I feel like I should have liked it more, but now I've seen like 20 other ones, so I got so much to compare it with. And I just hate his eyebrows. And you know what? Yeah. One of the reasons was because it was very distracting that about 40% of the shots were like that. And sometimes it was actually like 45 degrees. It was crazy. And when it wasn't, it went into it. And then it went back again. It was like a fucking boat. You didn't know which way we were going to go. It was too overused. It was more than the light flare and
lens flare.
The lens flare with that director who does the
J.J. Abrams.
Yes.
Right. Just hold on that camera thing for a second, because I just want to get this in before I forget. You said there's been like 20 other movies. That's something that really stood out to me, is the end of the film when Thor is trying to save everyone from the Destroyer, who's a really cool looking kind of semi-villain, this big metallic kind of monster that can kind of fire these like flames that are very powerful. Anyway, so the whole crux of that final scene is he going to become worthy of the power of Thor once again and be able to call the hammer to him, the hammer that he is unable to lift because his father has stripped his power away from him. So he needs to prove himself, and he ends up doing something where he sacrifices himself for someone else and proves himself to be worthy of that power again, which is really cool. And it's a really cool moment when the hammer comes and his hand reaches up and grabs the hammer, and then like his suit comes on. But that scene has been done better in further movies. You know, the Thor Ragnarok, what were you the god of again? And like he jumps down with Led Zeppelin, like it's an amazing moment. So it's hard to, when there's been so many films in a series and they do the same kind of moment but better, then it reflects a little poorly on this one, where it's like, oh, this is cool, but it's not as cool as the other time they did it, you know? So it's like a similar moment, but it was done, I think, better in another movie. So if that other movie hadn't existed, perhaps I would enjoy it a bit more, if that makes any kind of sense. And also the moment when Thor arrives on Wakanda in Infinity War is another like great like Thor comes back moment. So, as you were saying, the camera angles. I'd really want to listen to the audio commentary with Kenneth Branagh to see. He must mention it. I don't know what it is. At first I thought, okay, so it's like everything's on a slant because Thor is a fish out of water, and on Earth everything is like slightly different to him. But then the slanted angles are not just on Earth.
Everywhere.
Well, it's not everywhere, but it is used. It's used more on Earth than it is anywhere else. But at the same time, I was thinking maybe he's going for like a comic book effect, but it doesn't
Even
seem.
Comic books don't have that much angle.
No, but it's interesting because I don't think either of us noticed this before, right?
Nope.
It's strange, like we've seen it a couple of times at least in the past, whatever, how many years it's been.
I've noticed a lot when you watch the old Batman series.
Okay.
Batman.
The '60s show.
Yeah, the real one. And I noticed that every time there was a crook in the picture, it would be crooked.
Yeah, totally. Yes.
Yeah.
Literally crooked. Yeah.
Yeah, and they do that in a lot of movies, and like what do you call it, noir or whatever. They do that in a lot of movies when there's something off with the scene.
Yeah.
But he does it when there's nothing off with the scene.
Yeah,
as well,
there's no like
and
identifying.
then it doesn't work for me in any other way than it being distracting.
Yeah, I agree.
And then after it's being distracting, it's just annoying.
It didn't annoy me, but
to me it did, because I felt it was overused and I didn't feel that was professional. I felt it was very amateurish. Yeah. Like, oh, I like that effect. Let's just overuse it.
Yeah.
No, it was worse than Take My Breath Away in Top Gun.
Right.
And that was used a lot.
Like in the scene when Loki visits Thor on Earth and tells him, our father's died because of you. And the slant is really like extreme, and I feel like that works because it's like Thor's world is literally like going out of shift. Like he's just like.
And Loki, the bad guy, is there.
And Loki, the bad guy, is there, or that could be foreshadowing that Loki is the bad guy, because at this point we're not sure. If we were watching it for the first time, we didn't know Loki is a villain. But yeah, like you said, it's used in pretty much almost every instance to the point where it doesn't seem to have a use. Or an effect or a meaning. So I'm wondering, I really want to know the story behind those slants. To me, it's distracting, but it doesn't really take away from the film too much. It just became more of a kind of...
It must have to me, because I liked it more before.
Wow, you really think just that alone was like a...
That alone lost a lot of...
points?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not points.
But not literal. I don't mean literal points,
movie, but it would lose at least half a point to a point.
Wow, that's big. That's significant.
I don't know if it's out of 10 or not.
We've already covered this. A 5-star rating, you can go in halves, and it's the 10.
Well, at least half a point.
Okay, at least half a point.
And his eyebrows is about a quarter.
His eyebrows are about a quarter.
Bad decision.
Yeah, so like the blonde eyebrows.
He looks like Whoopi Goldberg a little bit.
What?
He doesn't have eyebrows. They're very light or very thin.
I never knew that or noticed that.
Well, you will now. It can't be unseen now. It's just some shots. You can't even see them. They're so light. And I'm just thinking, God, he looks like a drag queen.
I will appreciate the fact that you have...
Not that there's anything wrong with drag queens.
No,
I'm just saying he's not supposed to look like one.
Right, well, I appreciate the fact that they had the lead character not look perfectly pretty, but at the same time they do have a prolonged sequence where he takes his shirt off, which is like the typical thing in the superhero movie. And the girls
are all like...
Yeah, but it's like the typical like thing where like, okay, you're in a superhero movie, you're gonna work out, get some abs, and we'll do a shot where you got your top off. It's like the obligatory thing you have to do.
I know CPR. I can do CPR. Yeah, we get
it. But what was I saying? Right, so I can appreciate that they didn't. It's not a very...
I don't think they did it to make him look less attractive.
No, I know, but...
They did it because his hair is... when they wanted him to appear ginger or something. I don't know. Because the hair was... I don't know what it was, but...
No, but... I don't know. What can I say? But regardless, when the Avengers rolled around, Joss Whedon obviously said, get that man some proper eyebrows. It doesn't look right. Thank you. And he also, actually, something we didn't really mention is in Iron Man 2, when Tony kind of fixes himself with the sickness, he has a new arc reactor, which is triangular. So they went through all the effort to do that, and then I think in the Avengers, Joss Whedon's like, yeah, I'm going back to the circular one. So like, when Joss Whedon did the Avengers, he kind of changed a few things when it came to elements of our superheroes, but it's all coming together. The post-credit scene had Selvig, the scientist, meet Nick Fury, who has the Tesseract, which we're about to see in the next one, Captain America. And so that's setting up the Avengers, and by this point they obviously were definitely doing the Avengers and were kind of consciously working towards that. So it's fun to see those little things and knowing where it's going. I liked the bit when the metal destroyer landed on Earth and Coulson was like, no, someone said to Coulson, is that one of Tony Stark's? He's like, I don't know, he never tells me anything. I liked Coulson in this film. I think this is probably the most he's in one of these movies. Maybe the Avengers he has more screen time, but I thought he was good. Natalie Portman was funny. I think she really
was good.
She really got across like someone who's kind of giddy over someone. Like she really portrayed that quite well.
She does the giggles well.
And let's talk about that kiss. I think there's two possibilities. The first one is the director said to her, right, I want you to kiss him like you're trying to fish something out of his lung. Or
I know, it looks like she was sucking.
It was ridiculous.
And then he was trying to like regain his teeth. It was very hard.
It's a very full on kiss.
You can see her like the skin on her cheeks goes in as she's very fishy.
Yeah, like suction going on there. It's ridiculous. And then or the second option, I think, is that the director said to her, okay, we're running out of daylight, so you've got one chance to kiss Chris Hemsworth. And she's like, okay, I'm really going for it. Because it was like such a like...
or she was pissed off at him.
Oh, she was pissed. Yeah, it was like an angry kiss.
Yeah, or maybe it was the 100th kiss and she was sick of it and she was like...
all that. Okay, yeah, so there's more than two options, but... I actually think it kind of works because it's not like a typical pretty movie kiss. It's more of a...
No,
do you know what I mean?
It's cringeworthy.
Oh, it's cringeworthy, okay.
To me it was, because it was very like...
I can understand that for sure. I can get it being cringeworthy, but it didn't read that way to me.
It didn't look comfortable at all.
It didn't,
not
no.
Like, oh yeah, they're kissing. It's more like, oh, they're... Ooh.
It felt like a genuine, passionate, but slightly ugly kiss. Do you know what I mean? Like it was, I like that it wasn't a pretty movie
that
kiss.
That was my first kiss.
No, I know, but it's just, I don't know. I think it works. There's a scene. I honestly, I love all the Asgard stuff. Like, I love the design of that world, and especially the Bifrost Bridge. I think that's so cool, where it kind of goes off into the stars. Like, I love all that design stuff. And the fight at the end on the Bifrost Bridge just looks so cool, just the visuals. And in the scene where Thor and Loki are going at it, and Loki's like, is it? Is it? Like, he's just like so like...
He's crying as he's saying it.
There's tears rolling down. I kind of like, I'm kind of like, whoa, he's going a bit too far. But at the same time, I like that he's going a bit too far.
I'm pretty sure someone was like blowing minty breath in his face as he was doing, because his eyes are streaming.
But he's so committed, that, and Loki's such a kind of like out there character when he really gets, you know, into his kind of mode, I guess, you know.
He's a top and bottom teeth kind of actor.
A top and bottom teeth kind of actor. That is a great phrase.
When he gets into it, he really shows all of his teeth.
He does.
Kind of like Harry Potter when he smiles.
But I like that.
Harry Potter when he's gonna kill him as well.
Yeah, in Prisoner of Azkaban. But I think with Loki, like, he has that very reserved and kind of playful side to him when he's kind of in control. But when he really lets go, like, Tom Hiddleston really kind of commits to this kind of really zany performance. I kind of like it. And I also think, now that we're kind of doing it chronologically, this is the only time so far the score has stood out to me. Not top to bottom, but like the Thor theme, like the main theme of the movie, I think is a really nice one.
No memory.
No memory. Okay, yeah, it's a. I'm just doing random stuff just because you're already starting to smirk. But I like.
Because you started so light.
Started so light.
No, it's like.
So, no.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not amazing. It's not amazing, but it's the most memorable of like the first few movies for me. Like Iron Man couldn't even tell you anything.
Captain America is more, and then Avengers is very memorable.
The Avengers is very memorable for sure.
But I've listened to that front and back so many times. So.
And Brian Lomax, if you're watching this, I can't believe you once said the score to the Avengers isn't memorable at all. The fuck are you talking about? Unbelievable. But yeah, it's not great. Well, it's good. But it's not like, you know, amazing, but it stands out more than the previous three movies. Anything else you'd like to add about Thor before we wrap up this review? You're not even sat there anymore. You're already sat up. She's already sat up waiting to leave the video. That's because kind of how done you are with this review right now. Is that you're not even in the video because you're just so done with it right now.
Bye.
Okay, so that was the rating. Let's try and give a rating out of 5. I would give it a 4. I kind of almost want to go 4.5, but I do think it's not that great, but I love it. I really, really enjoy it a lot. Obviously more than you, but for me it'll be a 4.
Go with a 4 maybe, because I think 3.5 is too low.
Yeah.
And it's definitely better than Iron Man 2.
Yeah, definitely better.
3.5.
Yeah, 3.5 for Iron Man 2.
Well, is it?
Well, is it? Yeah.
Well, it is. It's a breath of fresh air because we've seen 2 Iron Man now.
Yeah, it breaks it up nicely.
Yeah,
and again, just a character that... And one final thing, I think Chris Hemsworth is great. Like, he has the build and appearance of someone like a god, like Thor. What do you find funny about that?
Would you say he's godlike?
Godlike? What's the joke?
Oh, you're talking about his figurine.
His figurine? A figurine is a toy.
What did you say? What's the word you used?
I don't know. He has the build and the...
Build, yeah. So you're talking about his bod.
Yeah. Well, I don't mean like that, but like he's tall and he has kind of the frame.
He's muscly. Let's just say it.
No, not even that. But regardless, he carries, even just the way he acts and performs, he carries that kind of character well. But also, my favourite thing...
Tom Hiddleston didn't get that part.
I know, Tom Hiddleston actually auditioned for that.
He's so thin for
there's
that
footage of that somewhere. Ridiculous. Anyway, but also his comedic timing. And he's really good at being funny without coming across like someone who's trying to be funny. Like, just little things like when, what's her name? Kat Dennings' character. The annoying assistant, when she's like, "Oh, this is totally going on Facebook," which is a reference. Just him smiling. It's just like, it's really funny, just really natural, and so.
She just is smiling. He's like.
Yeah, it's a really funny reaction.
This drink is good. Another.
Yeah, it's just really funny, but again, without trying too hard. And I feel like it's a character that could have been too serious. especially with like Kenneth Branagh directing it. No offense to him, but you know he's a very serious actor's actor. But I think that humor is what makes the Thor character so enjoyable for me. He is probably my favorite of the Avengers, I think, actually, which only continues as the films go on. I think he just gets better in that role.
Yeah, I like him even better now.
Yeah, but so it's a great kind of jumping off point for him, I think. And
the Hulk is my favorite, I think.
Oh, that's cool. And compared to some, well, I guess at this point in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, we're still dealing in low stakes. But as the movie goes on, it's like, you know, the end of the world, being, you know, the world gets saved. But here it's very much a very personal thing that happens in, like, New Mexico, of all places. So I like the smaller scale stories as well. But again, this is kind of the infant stages of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so that those stories have kind of been the same, the previous 3 movies anyway. So that is it. Thank you for watching. It's been quite a long one. And we'll see you with the next one, which is Captain America, the First Avenger.